What is going on, guys? Today we have an emergency spice stream. I never use those words. I never push the clickbait like that, but it's warranted today. Stay with me. Real quick shout out to our sponsors, Bybit and Market Cipher. Links in the video description below. Smash the likes and subscribes. Okay, got it out of the way. Big stuff going on with Bitcoin right now. Very spicy. We have not had an emergency spice stream, I want to say, in like a year. Anyway, right now, just minutes ago, Bitcoin tested the 200 weekly moving average. This has been one of the most pivotal points that we have been searching for on price. I got to turn this volume down. One of the most pivotal, meaningful prices in Bitcoin. This is Binance's chart. Let's actually grab BLX here. We're going to go back and look at what the 200 weekly has meant for Bitcoin over the years. Going all the way back, you can see we have really not spent a lot of time. Let me get rid of these other ones for you. Like I said, this is emergency spice. I didn't have time to prepare. There we go. That's definitely not it. Okay. Getting my stuff together, I swear. I'm all right. Okay. So, in the past, Bitcoin in 2014 tested this green moving average. And what this is the averaged price of the last 200 weekly candles, I believe, at close. In 2014 and 15, in the bear market low after Bitcoin retraced 85%, Bitcoin found support there. In 2018, at the bottom of the bear market, Bitcoin found support at 3,100. It tested it again in March of 2020, and it traded about 25% below. That was the first time Bitcoin had ever substantially traded below the 200. It did wick in the previous tests. And this brings us to more relevant today information. In June of 22, we lost the 200 weekly. This was basically known over the years as the ultimate entry, the best buying point. I remember even in 2020 when we left the 200 weekly behind, people saying, I'll just wait to buy at the 200 weekly. Well, in typical Bitcoin fashion, it turned what was a sure thing into a much scarier predicament. In June, it was lost. We broke back above it in August. However, bulls unable to hold on to those gains. We pushed down to 15.5. Today, after, let's see how long, 14 weeks. No, longer than that. Even longer than that. After 26 weeks, Bitcoin has finally come back and is testing the 200 weekly right now today. Big stuff. This is more important than really anything we've seen over the last few days. Let's take a peek. Before we tested it, we were bullish on this channel. Let's be realistic. We were looking for a back test of it, and I've been saying for a while that the back test of this 200 is really going to determine what the next few months, maybe even year, look like moving ahead. Now, at the moment, I don't love what I see, but today is still young. There's still time for it to break, and I mean, it did break technically, but time for it to break and have those gains hold. I'm going to throw this on a cleaner chart here. There we go. I'm betting up, but here's what we're really looking at. So when we started rallying in January, I said, man, we're going for the 200. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see a straight move up into the 200 because we have seen time and time again in Bitcoin, these moves, these straight up inefficient price action moves basically just get sold off and punch into lower lows. If you want to see a good example of that, go back to October of 2019. I think it was the 200 daily. Maybe it was the 50. Either way, we had a really explosive rally, about 100%. It was like a 40% gain in a day. That got sold off. It was a short squeeze. In the last few weeks, we've said what we really want to see, or at least I want to see, is moving close to the 200 and then pulling back to a higher low. While sentiment started turning very bearish back here, we were looking for this higher low. And it does look like in February, this month, we did get it. We got the higher low. Here we are back at the 200. I believe this is a much healthier approach to the 200 weekly than moving straight into it, getting euphoric, having a short squeeze, etc. Now we're here. The 200 weekly is at 24,900. Price is currently at 24,700. And let's zoom in. Let's zoom in and take a peek. Pretty volatile price action. Pretty nice move. About a 4% move over the last 2 hours, reaching as high as 25,250 on Binance. We have seen sellers come in. This was pretty much expected. We've had some live long trades open. I can update you guys. I did actually close the smaller long. If I can find it. I did close the smaller long, and the price won't surprise you at what price I closed it at. You can see down here, this wasn't a huge trade. It's probably behind me. I wonder if there's a way I can actually show you. There you go. Right there. Closed at 24.9. Taken, man, this is hard to see. Taken from 22,000. Jeez. What a boss trade. Almost $3,000 upside, well, $3,000 move on that long. So here's what's important to me. We have the MA on the chart here. A daily close above this MA is going to be awesome. If we get it, we're going to have some upside targets. And let's see what those might be. How do I keep going to that same one? There we go. Oh, man, let's go, boys. Death cross my ass. That's right. Knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it. So, I do like the hesitation that we're seeing right now. I'm just updating you live. I'm really figuring this out as I go because this is not my normal time to be awake. Let's see. We'll throw on our weekly resistance there. Potentially going to look for support at that level, 24.3. That's where we touched on the last day of January, the last week of January. Hit that higher low, and we've moved higher. I like it. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Let's do it. If we look to the left, where might we look for our next upside target? Our Fibonacci extension and retracement tool, pointing at 27.6. It doesn't really line up anywhere with our chart. So usually I'm pretty confident in those, but I'm not going to take 27.5. I don't see any kind of congruence or confluence agreement, as you may call it. 1618 near 26.7. Not a bad upside target, but I think it's time. So actually, getting a little ahead of myself because I'm excited, guys. I'm glad you're here with me. Smash the likes and subscribes. You know how to do. Little excited here. I don't want to get you guys too excited because we are still, if we look at the bigger picture, we're still very down from highs. But what I do think we should acknowledge is that retaking this 200 weekly is the first step to getting back to that extreme hype hot market. What we've seen over the last few weeks is the U.S. Congress and Treasury and SEC fighting over a debt ceiling, essentially pushing it off, and potentially now we may see that in the second half of 2023. This is actually really good news for Bitcoin because what that essentially means is the Treasury has to float the budget by cranking on that money printer. That could lead to not only the first quarter of this year closing green, but potentially even the next quarter. That's pretty spicy. That's pretty spicy. If that scenario plays out, if there's no resolution found, I think that betting down on almost any market is going to be pretty rough. It may be time to look at our 618 retracement. So, looking at our high to our low, if we can retake the 200 weekly here, we may see as high as 39.6. I think that could easily be a float up to that 48, 46K range. Those are going to be really where the resistance is lying, really where the liquidity is. This big old box up here. We used to put it on our chart all the time. Now we don't. Might have some resistance there at 30, but that doesn't look too strong. Let's go down to the day quick. So far, so good. This happened literally minutes ago. We went live, and the gains have not been lost yet. That's a great sign. We said that yesterday on stream. Basically, I'm liking the reaction to these highs. We are seeing some selling, but we're not seeing a clear, savage rejection, and I like that. I like that. The daily definitely shaping up here. Money flows coming up. Our volume-weighted average, or volume-weighted VWAP. Average price, my bad. Coming up with momentum and price on the day, very strong. We're looking at the MACD. Momentum has waned off from selling back to buying momentum. Things are looking pretty damn good, if I say so myself. We're going to get into the really low time frames here. Really low time frames. Let's just throw a level right there. 25.7 on the hour. Looking at RSI, I don't like what I see here. That sucks. RSI significantly lower on this swing high versus even local price action at lower prices. Not ideal. Not ideal. We do see momentum coming up on that hour. Money flow actually very strong. So is momentum on the hourly. Maybe, I'm not convinced this is over yet. I'm liking this. It's very similar to the day we're seeing money flow, VWAP, and momentum moving up. I'm not going to lie, this is getting really spicy. The 12-hour catalyst, the CPI print, we were not aware would be the catalyst, but answered our prayers on the 12-hour. Doing pretty good. VWAP is coming down there with momentum up. Let's see. The issue we're running into is the same one we've run into, I don't know, every step of the way throughout the last year and a half or maybe more. RSI very high, not at the highest point. January 14th, actually, RSI was higher than price is right now, and that's not ideal. That's not ideal. You have a higher high in price, lower high in RSI. This means two things. One, we're painting bearish divergence. We'd look for a retrace. Or two, this move is not over. Bearish divergence really can only be identified once we see a reversal in price. And at the moment, it's not there. Let's look at the 4. 4 hours actually looking a little weak. A little weak, but not wrestling with really the same issues that the 12-hour is. While you can find bearish divergence there, it's not quite as clear. You see lower highs. You'd have to go all the way back. And on the 4-hour, you're looking back really far to identify divergence, and that is not likely valid. Let's go down. Let's go down to the really low. This was a pretty it was an intense move only because it moved up so fast and back down so fast. That would be a rejection typically, but we haven't seen our lows broken. If that 30-minute even into this hour were to push down below 24.3, that may be the sign of a pretty savage rejection. And really, if that, I don't want to say if 24.3 breaks, then this happens because that's too hyperbole. But if we do see maybe on the daily time frame today, because we went through the kind of bullish outcomes, upside targets, but if we see, I would say if today closes below that 24.3, that is going to be a pretty harsh rejection from the 200, and then we get some really ugly numbers. Let's see what that might look like. Well, we could always find support possibly down here, maybe on the 618 of this move to the upside, 22.7. If we break our low of 21.3, it hits the fan. Everything hits the fan. Our measured move target sitting pretty close to that previous resistance at 18.3, untested as support. If this gets tested, I think we're looking for lower lows. I don't see that in the macroeconomic situation right now. Definitely don't see that right now, but if, oh man, we got to get above this, guys. We got to stay above this. Let's go. Let's look at these really low time frames. 15-minute, a little bit of heaviness there. What's up, man? I do not know what is going to happen next. Holy moly. Holy moly. And of course, as soon as they go live, all the spice stops. Some good news here. We made that move up and retraced right back to the 618. That's 24,650. And now price seems a little reluctant to move. Having traded sideways after that volatile move for about 20 minutes now. It is fortunately above resistance, previous resistance here on a very low time frame, 5-minute. We've got a lot of other things moving. I had so many alerts go off. Ethereum broke its range high. My sights are set on 1772 as they have been. If 1772 breaks, 2100 very likely in Ethereum's future. If we look back, 2000 like 2100, very significant price point in Ethereum. This was resistance and it was support. It was support. It was resistance. Resistance. And now we're maybe trudging our way back up there. Let's go Ethereum. Money flow a little bit weaker on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. However, at this point in the game, literally, it's going to come down to where Bitcoin goes. Taking a look at total 3, not a lot of update here, but we looked at this a few streams ago. 358 billion looks to be holding as support here as we have a higher high. Market cipher B on the day is absolutely beastly. I'm liking that. What that suggests is that alts outside of, well, crypto outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum are seeing some disproportionate gains potentially. Let's see. Litecoin broke a high but didn't really go anywhere. We're really seeing that across the market. I don't like to say it. I don't like it. It's a little bit of a blow off top looking pattern with a move straight up and then straight back down, retracing, not immediately bouncing again. That's what I would have hoped to see off of this sell-off, but it's not there yet. Actually, let me check my alerts because there was a bunch of them and I don't remember them off the top of my head. Bitcoin dominance. There we go. Bitcoin dominance. Great indicator in the last cycle of bullishness or bearishness. The weekly retesting the 618 retracement from 22's high to 22's low. Breaking higher is actually not a great thing. I'm a maximalist, but as much as I'd like to see Bitcoin do well, when Bitcoin dominance is high, typically we see alts getting beaten and we are in the depths of a bear market when that happens. I think that we can safely say we have a little bit of room to the upside on Bitcoin dominance as long as it's below about 50, really this entire range for the last 2-3 years. As long as it's below 50, things are okay. We're likely to see alt pain if we move into this area. And I believe we're likely to see a bear market if Bitcoin dominance moves above 50. That's basically what happened in the last cycle. We only have one cycle to compare it to. But the last cycle, dominance dropped all the way to the peak. Literally, January, the first week of January, dominance hit its lowest low. Alts hit their highest all-time highs at that point. And dominance trended up. All the way. We can technically say this was the highest point. So it trended up to December of 2020 when Bitcoin re-entered a bull market. Dominance dropped again. So dominance, while it isn't tradable and people can argue it doesn't have much value, I would argue it's worth keeping an eye on, as at least last cycle it was a very confident predictor of the market. Hex is moving. Apparently Hex is moving. We got an alert for Hex. Let's peek at it quick. I don't know why I got an alert. Oh, because this isn't... There we go. There we go. Hex does look like it broke out of this descending wedge. Mashed up against 0.55 resistance, now trading higher. What's the next upside target? On the monthly, Hex actually looks pretty clear. This is not unique to Hex. Many coins are in this condition. I'd be looking at the 0.5 retrace. That lines up really well with this candle, and that'd be 9.5 cents. 9.5 cents. Can't believe I'm looking at Hex. Just that kind of day, man. Whatever gives me alerts, I'm going to pull open. Money flow's a little janky. Close the daily above 0.55. You can obviously look left to this weekly and say, well, maybe there's a little resistance at 7 cents. Sure. Price unlikely to move straight up there. I would say maybe something like that if we get a strong close today. Do you believe Optimism also gave me an alert? I know you guys have been keeping your eye on that. Was it Optimism? God, I have so many. It was Optimism, but I don't think it's an important alert, actually. It has retraced deeply back to the 786 retracement. Looks like closed its 4-hour candle there. Sold off a little bit with the rest of the market. But we are seeing $2.93 act as support right now. Our previous just a few weeks ago at 325 all-time high. Likely the next target if we see the market not get nuked today. Money flow is all right. Momentum's coming up. Cool. I like that. I like it. On the hour, Bitcoin seems to be finding some legs here. You can see it battling, literally battling it out with the 200 weekly right there. It's traded above and below. Just need to pull up to 24.9. Come on, let's go. Very nice. Wow. So I was just talking about it, and maybe its ears were burning. I was saying I don't like this kind of sideways action. I don't want to see that prolonged throughout the day after such an important test and then sell off. And now we're getting a little bit of a green candle here. To the 618. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. 5 minutes starting to look good. Money flow coming up with momentum in VWAP. That was not the case just moments ago. 15-minute looking not to give up here as momentum unpinching or broadening back out, suggesting momentum is not slowing. 30-minute is still a little bit heavy here. We can see these 2 candles and now potentially 3 setting up. And what we're going to look for, hopefully in the next 25 minutes, is for a close above 25. That's going to give us a 3-candle long setup. That's going to basically be fuel for the upside. That would be a great close. I'll take anything on any time frame, though, over the 200 weekly, to be honest. Doesn't matter to me. But let's start it out with... let's get like this half an hour candle, 30-minute. Let's get the hour, and then let's get rolling. 25.6, 26K. Right here. Right here on the minute, retesting it. Unfortunately, it's looking like a lower high. Slightly lower high here. RSI came down on low time frames with it. That's not bad. Same on 5. Same on 15. Cool. I like the way that this is setting up. Let's go. Let's go. We got 675 viewers. Welcome to the emergency spice stream. How are you guys feeling today? I'm going to pull up the chat here. Start a poll. Bitcoin, caps. Polls have to be in caps. That's actually the rule. Bitcoin at 200 week. Let's go. What's next? So rejection. We'll do rejection continuation. I'm liking what we're seeing on these low candles. On these low minute. Dude, I'm excited. I'm having trouble talking. I'm liking what we're seeing here. Not necessarily structurally. I don't like this lower high. We haven't invalidated our high lower high here though by setting a lower low. That would be no bueno. We would start to potentially see head and shoulders play out. But what I like is if you notice these candles, even though these aren't huge price moves at the moment, there's an energy behind them, right? It's not like a mystical energy, but a literal visual energy. Like we're seeing these candles kind of deviate from what we've seen. Well, even looking just back here, you can see these are very muted. These are very in a range, very tight. Each candle moving, not actually back here, it's like 0.01% movements. We're seeing these movements expand out, and what that's saying is volatility is kicking up at the moment. Let's pull up our Bitcoin volatility chart and see where our volatility is at. Ho. You guys remember when I showed you this early January? Volatility had hit an all-time low. Previously, volatility hitting all-time lows. Well, we won't say that. Previously, volatility hitting lows into this low range has been a pivotal point in the cycle. Doesn't necessarily dictate a top or bottom, but what it does show us is something really interesting. each time Bitcoin has moved in a significant manner. So in April of 2017, when it broke out, headed to 20K, we saw a swing high in volatility. When it dropped from 6K to 3K in 2018, we saw at the time the lowest point in volatility directly before the drop. March of 2020, all-time high volatility. This was into the drop again. June of 20, we hit a low in volatility, and we basically were at the pivot, 9.5K. We moved on then to 69K. We didn't get any volatility at the top or bottom of our ranges throughout that entire time, from 2020 until December 22. In December 22, Bitcoin had, now in hindsight, hit its low, at least for now. Volatility reversed, and so did price. Bitcoin volatility has been a great indicator. It doesn't tell us up or down, but what it does tell us, at least so far in its history, is you're about to see a macro move happen. As price continues up, this is looking more and more confident. You can see volatility moving, kind of trending back towards the top of this band, and here's what my caution would be. If we continue to see price move up, and we continue to see volatility expand, if it moves into the top of this range, we don't have a definitive value, but around 37 on the BVol24. If we're moving up at that time, it is likely that we're going to see a macro reversal. That is what it's done every single time, at least in the history we have so far. If price has moved up and then is retracing, so let's say maybe in Q3 or something of this year, this happens. If it's retracing, it is possible that that swing low that it creates and the volatility that brings could be the pivot point where we continue to move higher. Really interesting. Really recommend you guys look at this. Most people probably don't even know BVol exists. It's like the crypto VIX. It's like the Bitcoin VIX. Very cool stuff. Checking back in here. 1 minute. What is happening? Lower high here on the 1, but we haven't broken our low yet. Let's go, Bitcoin. What are you guys feeling? 200 votes. We're looking at 52% bull, 48% bear. Not bad. What's up, Justin Todd Cervantes? 27K then plunge. Interesting. I'm curious what. So if you are someone who thinks that we're going higher, but you think that we're gonna go lower after that, what is the logic or the reasoning kind of behind the price points you pick? Like 26.7, definitely a good one. Solid previous support, untested as resistance. Definitely a good one to be looking at. The reason I ask is because in the scenario we move to 26.7, as long as it's not like a straight up candle, if we retrace, where do we end up? Well, maybe like this. I move above the 200, I move back to the 200. That would be a nice strong back test. However, I'm going to say I don't think that's how it plays out. Honestly, if you're looking for lower than 15K, I think you would bet that it reverses right here. Because what I could see happening very easily is a 200 rejection that takes us essentially to a stop hunt low below 15.5, a wick. I mean, anyone knows, anyone's guess how low that could go, but I would guess some kind of liquidity hunt at the 15.5 level if we reject from the 200. But I think that gets bought back up. I think it gets bought back up and retests the 200 and probably then retakes it. Now that we're here, this is it. Like this is scarier to me than the 15K. This is scarier to me than breaking 20K. This is freaky. We've never back tested the 200 like this, especially not after so much elapsed time. This is a first again for Bitcoin. It's a cycle of first, baby. Keep voting in the polls, keep smashing subscribes and likes. Also at 1:30, we're going to have a crypto tax professional on for a little interview. Tune into that. Shibarium will be launching soon, says Anthony Collado. Interesting. Shorts better take a break. You'll get squeezed, mark my words. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it, Jacob. Actually, let's see. Let's check in on... No, not Bybit.com. Let's check in on funding. This is something we haven't used in a while. It was a really good metric, I'll say, in 2020 and 2021, and then it really hasn't been on. Let's take a peek. According to CoinGlass.com, both USD and token margined contracts are heavy. They are above the normal rate. Typically, what this suggests is that more longs are opening. Longs are opening more than shorts, and so longs are being forced to pay shorts to stay open more than usual. This is not what I wanted to see. I actually really wanted to see the opposite. I wanted to see shorts opening like crazy. Let's go to basedmoney.io, a good site as well. Both are just free sites with information. Let's take a look at these max pain prices. Max pain price for tomorrow is 22.7. 24.7 for the 18th of February. March 22.5. April 23. So these used to be a great metric too. Yesterday I did a little rant about correlation. This is really similar. Bitcoin and crypto in general has a way of getting everyone looking at some metric, something, some correlation, some thing. And in the past, off the top of my head, I can name a bunch. CME gaps, the dollar, correlation with stock, correlation with gold, funding rates, max pain prices. All of these things have been like super, they have been very popular when predicting crypto, and they've worked for long periods of time, respectively, and then they just stopped because none of them are actually correlated at the end of the day. It's what I like to call Bitcoin's mimicry. These max pain prices don't really make sense. Tomorrow, the 18th kind of does at 24.7. It's just below that 200 weekly. Come on, get back up. Why do these labels keep popping up? It's kind of cool though, the labels, because you guys can see what each thing is. Maybe I'll leave them on. 750 viewers on our emergency splice stream. Welcome. Weird. Let's go back to lagging indicators. True that, Jacob, but to be fair, literally every indicator is a lagging indicator. I love making that counterpoint. People are like, that's a lagging indicator. Name something that isn't. You name one indicator that is future telling and I'll use it. The big hopium is that the SPX is moving up again. Not a bad thought. I hadn't pulled it up this morning. Let's look at SPX. Let's look at the stocks. Where am I? Did I hit it at all this stream? There we go. SPX. We got the robes out. Not really because celebration, but mostly just because I was waking up. SPX still chilling at 4,100. Not really what I was hoping. Chilling at 4,100. We were looking potentially, you can see this position here, entering at 4,100. Our stop at or below 4,000, targeting 4,300. We haven't really made any progress towards that, at least at this point. Let me look here at kind of what's going on the day and the week with this. No real issues on the day. Money flow is weird, but actually I'm liking it. We're seeing higher lows and higher highs. That's provided it doesn't dip down lower. It doesn't dip down below maybe 40 or 4,000. Look at this week. You did. I mean, you had resistance. You had a higher low. Now you've moved above resistance. It looks like it's consolidating. I still think that we were on track. I think our giant inverse head and shoulders potential still on track to play out. Stock's looking okay. Well, actually, this is a really good thing to point out too. Now that we're looking at stocks, whatever happened to Bitcoin and stocks move together all the time, right? These correlations are fleeting. Don't get attached to them. Absolutely, at times they will appear correlated, but they never stay. Doesn't seem like they ever stay correlated. Stocks are up Our S&P 500 is up 0.87% this week. Bitcoin boasting a 14.5% candle on the week. That doesn't seem too correlated to me. The other factor in that correlation we're going to look at, let's take a peek at the dollar as well. It's weird. It's honestly weird. It seems like everything's holding on to its gains, except for the next thing we're going to look at. Dollar hit a higher high today and sold off. Money flow does look very good on the day for the dollar. Looks like it wants to roll over here. Momentum's up, VWAP's up. That looks pretty dandy. The weekly. The weekly on the dollar. All right, so the day looks pretty good. The week a little bit weaker. We have broken our low. After this looks like kind of a double top, maybe a weak rejection. We do have momentum pitching and VWAP up. So dollar does look like on the weekly, it's going to try to make a move to retest that high or put in a lower high. That might be right around when things go nuts if it rejects. What pattern even is this? Let's look at the month maybe. I know, or I knew 103.5 was from somewhere. Bullish engulfed monthly. However, we have not seen 105.6 hit. We do have a lower low, no lower high yet. Dollar does seem to have found at least local support around that 101.7. Our order block from May, June of 22. Still looking for that retracement. Has not come, but the dollar definitely sharing in on some of the gains here into the green 23, baby. Ooh. Money flow, I've never seen anything on the quarterly for Market Cipher B. Money flow here does look interesting. We have a higher high on the quarter. We can see our momentum coming down. Selling pressure was rejected. We moved to a higher high. Does kind of look like it's trying to paint some kind of inverse head and shoulders, doesn't it? I like that. I like that, but I have no idea how long that would take to play out because that's a quarterly time frame. The longer the time frame, the more lagging. Dollar sitting at a doji here. I wonder if we see the dollar, if the day turns green, if everything starts pulling back. Let's go back to the corn. Corn, this is good. This is good. What I like about the corn right now, what I like about it, is we hit the 200. We have not seen what I was afraid of, the giant top wick immediate fall. This is not the best thing. This isn't the most bullish price action, but I would say for how significant of a price point the 200 weekly is, this is a pretty good reaction. You moved above, you fell, but you did catch a higher low. You did catch the higher low. I think that really either direction a trade could be made. I don't think I will take either of them, but definitely a short from the 200 could be taken. I think even a long from below the 200, but I think this is a disadvantaged position. You're really going to have to make it up with upside for a trade like that. Gold and silver. Yes, that's what I was going to look at next. Thank you, Mystic Holder, my man. I said we'll look at that next, and then I didn't. So gold broke. It broke low. I was getting very bullish on gold. Well, not very bullish, but I was thinking gold was going to test 2,000 this year. It still could be in the cards. However, looks like it rejected from 1961. Did not quite reach 2,000, and now we're seeing some retracement here. Strong support at just under, or we'll just call it 1,800 for gold. Very strong support. We can see looking left, this was really maybe the most important level to gold that exists over the last 10 years, 18K. In early 2010s, 18 we broke through, then hit tested as resistance once, twice, 3 times, rejected. It took 10 years to recover. 10 years. Once it did, it tested it as support, tested as resistance, as resistance, as resistance, as support. as resistance, fell as resistance, and now a return to there could be a pretty actually smart play. Could be a pretty smart play for the right trader. Let's put our fib on it. When in doubt, fib it out. No good fib reading here. That's okay. It happens sometimes. Our 618 is at this initial kind of resistance support level, but that would involve breaking 1800, and that's likely an ill omen for gold. That's not a good sign, to be honest, if it does. What we're looking at on the macro, though, let's put it to the week. This is potentially a lower high. If our RSI, if our oscillators are saying that their highs were higher, that's going to be really bad for gold. Let's look at relative strength index for this guy. Okay. Technically, the best kind. But technically, you have a lower high with a lower high in price. But I think what I'm going to just call this is a double top on RSI. I think that's really within a measure of error. Double top or slightly lower high, which is going to be a weak bearish divergence. It's not a strong bearish divergence. Ichimoku Cloud, though, suggesting support literally right here. That's pretty spicy. That's pretty spicy. The TK line is sitting directly where price is at right now. RXFRB is not bullish on the weekly for this, though. And gold, what a run, dude. What a run. It's like 30 year. Didn't really move that much, though. TK right here, you lose that, you're looking at 18 flat. Things get really bearish. 1600 is the Kaijun on the week. I wonder if the day looks similar. Here we go. Price slightly below the Kaijun. Holy shit, though. Do you guys see what I see? So, make a copy here. This would be interesting because while I said be weary of correlations in crypto, there absolutely are correlations in other markets. Gold and the dollar, absolutely, as they're a very traded pair. But if you're seeing what I'm seeing on the day, I might have just gotten... Oh, you know what? That wasn't actually the day. What time frame was that? I have these different Ichimoku Cloud setups. There we go. Okay, there we are. Wow, that's gross. Is it on the week? Interesting. Gold lost. It looks like it lost its trend there. What time frame was that? Here we go. On the month. Holy shit. This is what it is. So it's not on the day. Scratch that. It's on the month. Much bigger time frame. So we don't have a horizontal here, but our monthly Kaijun sits at 1842. Here's why I nearly lost my stuff when I saw this. We are above the cloud. This setup is amazing. This is a monthly time frame. I've never seen anything like this because assets in crypto don't have jack on the monthly. That lagging line. What I'm seeing here, though, gold's at the Kaijun. If it finds support there, all it has to do essentially is break its local high. The TK is already coming up despite price moving down this month. This is very likely, if we see either February get bought up or potentially even March move to a higher high, we will have on the month something I've never seen, which would be a cross up on the clouds, a cross up above the clouds on the monthly. That is very likely if we get this signal, that gold's going to look to break its all-time high. Wow. Wow. Holy moly. If that happens, I don't even know what happens if gold breaks its all-time high. Probably some pretty intense, serious things. But it also suggests that the dollar likely would be losing its value. There we go. Dollar flipped green on the day. What happened to Bitcoin? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing happened. Weird. No rejection yet. Still just chilling below 25K. This is tight, boys. It's tight. It's close. There we go. That little green notch there is the 20 or the 200 weekly. 6-minute time frame I don't use often. I'm seeing some signs of rolling over on market cipher B. Don't love where this RSI is at, though. It's pretty crazy that this all happened in the span of, let's see, it's like 24 minutes up, and now we've had like 50 minutes sideways. Did not plan on streaming this morning. I wanted to drink my energy drinks, puff on my bowl, and get ready for all the other tasks ahead, but Bitcoin had another problem. I'm happy. We haven't had a spice stream in a while, so I'm pretty happy. This is looking pretty ugly. But it's almost irrelevant what pattern we're seeing, mostly because it's on the 1 minute. It's almost irrelevant what pattern we're seeing because there's something more fundamental and something more important going on here. We broke, sold off below, and now tested this 200 3 times. So the fundamental, I guess it's still technical, but the more important aspect is we've hit this macro important moving average. You can argue if you don't like him, I don't care. You're wrong. You're wrong, because so many investors, especially older investors, have used this for their trading. This is very important simply because we will it so at that point. But we've hit it, we've moved above, moved below, and now we've moved it to it again 2 more times. We haven't gotten this. That is what I'm afraid of today. Could it do that? Yeah, I mean, it could still happen, but the longer or the more time that passes at this level without breaking down, I mean, we can even say a 24/6, even just the structure, the better, the more confident that we can be that we aren't rejecting. The rejection from this level has been, it's this, in my tiers of things I was afraid of in crypto, it goes, yeah, it goes the 200 week, and then above that is 48K. Rejecting from 48K, I have some very nervous thoughts about. So far, so good, no rejection. You got margin called today, Venom. Sorry to hear that, my friend. Leverify? What? Never heard of it. Yeah, definitely banned that bot. Glad you're streaming. Glad you're here. Craig Tensia, appreciate you, man. We're back to 20K. Adriani. We're at 25K, baby. Jacob would be sick. Wait, what would be sick? Do I think rejection or pump? At the moment, I'm saying pump. I'm saying pump. I'm saying pump as long as we are above. We'll even just say this low. That low might get taken out. Then I'm not going to be on the pump team quite as much. But we are right here at the most important resistance above us. Well, yeah, we'll say the most resistant. Most important. Right here. It's literally at 25K on the dot. We're at 24,935. Where are the sellers? Let's look at volume. This is on Binance. We did have some sellers. In fact, we see that the retrace from our recent highest point in our volume, which is telling, but what's more telling than that to me, what's more telling, if I can ever get my shit to work, there we go. What's more telling to me is the moving average of volume below us. So it can be difficult to dissect volume just looking at these vertical candles. It can be very difficult because there's so many, really. So what I like to look at more than specific candle volume is average volume, or using a volume moving average. And we can see right here, I wish I could make this bigger. The average volume on this move up is expanding. If we look to the left, the average volume has actually peaked to the highest point in our average volume, which is right back here. Market participants are interested in these price points. This was a pretty volatile move back here. Now we're getting what honestly looks very freaking similar. Let's see what that looks like. This looks very similar. Let's do something like that. That looks very similar. I'm not necessarily calling for this. This is just a little bit of a thought experiment. This looks really effing similar, and as I line it up, it's only looking more similar. Wow. That's creepy. That's creepily similar. Look at that. It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Let's see how this plays out. These little dotted guidelines. I'm going to make them harder to see. What color is easy to see? I'm a little bit colorblind, by the way. Getting more alerts. Litecoin breaking 105. Let's go, Litecoin! If Litecoin in any way is again signaling the crypto move as it did in previous bull markets, man. If Litecoin is doing it, Bitcoin's breaking the 200. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's effing go. This doodle will forever be one of my best TAs, I'll say. Nothing will ever beat my Doge call, but this will be up there. So perfect. Rejected from resistance on our downtrending line. Bumped. Ran to, I'll say exactly where we said it would. $100. Psychological level we said, but hey, unlikely to actually reject price. Psychological levels usually profit taking. You see kind of intra moves. What we'd look for after that 100, as described by this little squiggle, is a higher low. It definitely went lower than kind of the projected here, but this was also projected all the way, I don't know, month ago plus. Higher low hit. Went all the way to 88. We've broken back above our previous high, man, 121. I even said it today on a Twitter space that was hosted by Litecoin and Bitmain. I see Litecoin going to 121. It's got legs, baby. Higher high on the day. Momentum picking up at the zero line. Things are getting hella spicy as Litecoin breaking its low after putting in a higher low, reaching that 0 point. VWAP is the only thing I'm not digging. The only thing I'm not digging there. That's a beautiful, beautiful weekly candle. I'm looking for 121. Let's go, baby. I'm so excited. How's LTC BTC doing? Quick. Still in its gibberish. This looks maybe like a broadening wedge, which would suck, because then you'd expect this. But time will tell. Litecoin USD looking really good. What's going on with CoinGecko? Getting more alerts. Can't even keep up with the alerts today. Apparently, I can't even keep up with CoinGecko because it's not loading. Come on, you son of a bee. I'll close a bunch of these tabs. I wonder if the connection just crapped out because it's not loading. Or maybe CoinGecko's down. Yeah, I guess CoinGecko's down because our connection seems fine. Weird. We'll try CoinMarketCap. There we go. CoinGecko must be down. That's very odd. I wonder, do you guys know, is anything down exchange-wise? Put it in the chat if you know. Looks like Curve DAO is our leader in the last hour with a 5% increase. Let's pull up Curve. Take a peek there. Oh, yeah, baby. Could we have hit this any harder after a freaking 160% gain? We said that's not enough. We're going for another 40%er from 95 cents. Let's go. Daily still in beast mode. Has been in beast mode for days. Loop ring. Our baby loop ring. Actually, before we get into loop ring, really quick recap on total here. We looked at this yesterday. We looked at it pretty much every day since we've moved above. Total had actually moved above its 200 weekly prior or previous to Bitcoin. This was what we said, a pretty good indicator. If total crypto market cap is doing it, Bitcoin likely to follow. Unfortunately, earlier this week we had moved, or into last week and earlier this week, we had moved below the 200. We got a little sketched out, but the bulls not having it apparently, pushing past local weekly resistance here. This is what I'm looking for. That 50 weekly right above. I talked about a death cross on crypto. total crypto. Still almost certain to happen, unfortunately. Almost certain to happen. It may get very close and kiss. What would have to happen is total would have to go up a crazy, crazy amount and stay there. But the first step to rejecting that death cross is going to be retaking the 50, which is right above us. 1.15 trillion, currently 1.07 trillion. That's looking pretty good. All right, let's pull up Loop Ring quickly while we wait for the corn. While we wait for the corn to follow our secret TA. I'm going to get rid of this. Secret TA. It's not. 1 minute reached down to 0, potentially reversing, but it does look like it wants to roll over on the 1. 5 minute potential little gumdrop here. That's not great either. Not what I want to see. 10 minutes still looking pretty good though. 15, a little sketchy. 30 minute, gotta pull up. So the 30 minute did close. We were looking for what would have been a 3 candle long setup. That did not happen. That was rejected with this wick here. But we have created a little 30 minute support. Little 30 minute support there. I'm not gonna lie, these bars are really distracting. I might take them back. Let's make them more quiet. There we go. There we are, back to that little order block on the 5. What is this looking like? 61824 7. This would be a damn good spot to bounce. Damn good spot to bounce. I'm not seeing it though. I'm not seeing it quite yet. Oh no. United Striker subscribed. Welcome, brother. James Hunt, shout out to you. Sorry Pop, the 8G. If you're out there and you haven't smashed the likes, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. The more people that subscribe and like during our live, the more people YouTube will show our live stream to, and it helps us continue to grow, and that's why we've been growing all throughout the bear market, man. If you look at other crypto channels, they pretty much all shrank, but we were growing. Nice little support touch. So let's go. Pick it up 5 minute. Here's what I'm looking for. 5 minute. High on money flow. Started selling off. VWAP was trending down. Now we're seeing a little pickup. We break this 5 minute high right here. It's going to start looking good. VWAP's pulling it up now in this candle. Momentum hasn't responded, but hopefully we see momentum respond and money flow pull to a higher high. And if that happens, we're likely going to retest the high of our range here. That could be 25.50, potentially even 25.2 if we see that roll over on a higher time frame. Like the 30 minute potentially catching some bids and moving up, but we don't see signs of that yet. 45 minute kind of equal. The one thing I do like is this little rejected selling momentum wave here. Just a little nub at the bottom right under the 0 line gets picked up. That is usually a good sign for volatility, and that's basically what we want today is more volatility. Shamsy boy. Welcome, Shamsy boy. Are you wearing a robe too, my friend? Robes up, robes out, boys. It's been a while. Been a while. What indicator is what? It's a good question, Cryptogenic. We have no indicators visible right now. This is Market Cipher B. They're one of our sponsors. There's also other tools in the suite. This is RSI. You can even see on the side there's a little label. Actually, so a little mini lesson here on RSI. We hit overbought. Excellent. Good. That's what we want to see. We want to keep smashing. We want to keep hitting overbought over and over and over again. We want that RSI to be picked up and kept in overbought. Because when that happens, your RSI moving average moves up. Relative strength, meaning relative to the previous 14 candles. So if 14 candles can stay way up here, I think that's where bearish divergence and bullish divergence come from. Is if you stay up here, you have to keep increasing that buying pressure to remain relatively trending up. I don't know if that makes sense. This is MACD. I've taken off, if it looks different, because I've taken off the MACD and signal line because I don't really like them. I don't think that they're very good. I don't ever see them like clearly signal anything in my experience. But this is what it'll look like if you get the indicator on TradingView. It's free. The regular MACD is good. I just use the MACD custom indicator multiple time frame plus blah, blah, blah by Chris Moody. It's free. I just like it better than the regular. I like the color layout. Chris Moody, I don't even know who he is, but I'm very familiar with his indicators. This dude, he has 74,000 followers on TradingView. That's wild. He almost has more followers than I do on YouTube. But dude makes great indicators, and I think they're all free. I don't know. We do have an hourly close. Hourly close. Not a bad candle, man. We had a 2.6% candle to the upside. Broke through that 200 week. Now 0.69 nice hourly close. After that, that's not a terrible selling response. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're holding the price up here. Following our doodle pretty well. Just to check back in on that doodle. God, this is so similar. I hope it plays out that way. Maybe I can turn the music back on because I guess my internet's not crapping out. He's a wizard, Airy. That's right, Soft Taco. John Z. Deb, Hefner style. We're going to bring the robes back. I'm just waiting. Honestly, I was waiting to get back above that 200. Robes are for celebrating. Although, technically, celebrating in a bear market isn't bad. Bear markets are very misunderstood. They're so important. If there was no bear market, how would you ever get in? How would you ever acquire? How would you ever accumulate? What's kind of interesting, this is really spaced out there, a little tinfoily craziness for you guys. Bear markets are almost like traveling back in time in crypto. People say, oh, Tom, wish I got into Bitcoin when you did. Yeah, well, trust me, it wasn't as easy as it sounds, and it wasn't as pleasurable. But they say, oh, I wish you could get into those prices. Well, normally, I'd say 99% of people start during a bull market, and maybe half of those start within like a month of the all-time high. So they typically get trapped at high prices. In a bear market, we've seen Bitcoin retrace 85%. We haven't seen that in this cycle yet. It may not come. Virtually everything that I know to be true about the previous cycles didn't happen this cycle. But in the previous has retraced 85%. And what that is basically traveling back in time. If Bitcoin was at 10,000 and it retraces 85%, now it's at 1,500. You're basically like 4 years in the past. Does that make sense? It's like real time traveling in a way. The opportunities, they come and they stay. The bear market is prolonged and brutal. That, to wrap that idea up, what I'll say is that is why I always suggest people research DCAing, and I tell them my experience. That's how I got into this space, because whenever you start, you're probably getting in high, but if you're able to budget, find out how much free money you have, and contribute some stable amount on a scheduled manner, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever it is. I suggest monthly or weekly, but you're able to get much lower prices. So not financial advice, but when your friends come to you, so say Bitcoin takes off and everyone gets hype again in the next, this year or something. When people come to you and say, oh my God, I got to get in, they're going to want to throw all their money at it. Maybe you can tell them the story that if they're coming to you and asking, they're likely within like an all-time high. They're likely buying very high. So what they should do is, instead of putting all their money in, they should create a budget or a plan and start DCAing. Much more successful approach to crypto investing. This is an unpopular opinion, but DCAing into alts, I think, is a really bad idea. The lower the market cap, the worse the idea I think it is. However, that doesn't mean you can't get them or you shouldn't get them. My portfolio has way more than that, hundreds of very small alt positions, low caps, etc. But the majority of my value is in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is essentially the stable coin of the space. Yes, we have real stable coins now, but we didn't used to. But when shit hits the fan, Bitcoin remains much more stable than low cap random coin you pick out. So what you'll experience if you go all in on an alt or DCA only into an alts is you're going to watch your portfolio, go up a lot, and it's going to be really exciting. You're likely just going to go all in then and get wrecked. But if you don't, if you're smart, you're going to see it come back down like 99.9%. So the mental impact of that is savage. You're going to end up selling down 99% or something because you've seen such big gains and now it's basically back to zero. At some point, you're going to say, what's the point? Why do I might as well just sell because this is gone. If you have, let's say 50% Bitcoin in your portfolio, it won't go down 99%. It will remain much more stable. On top of that, another added little buff to investing is to also, I will say DCA, but DCA style accumulate a fiat stablecoin position in your portfolio. That is actually an active hedge against downward price action, even if you don't buy, because it's doing the same thing. When the crypto market tanks, dollars in that pair, if we can create a pair, crypto dollar pair, go up. So you have dollars going up in your portfolio in value versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin's remaining more stable than the alts, but you still have the exposure to those low cap things that you just can't live without, right? So you have the best of all worlds. You're not going to get rich quick. You're not going to moon overnight. I mean, no, it's safe enough to say that. You're not going to move overnight. But what you're doing is you're removing off the table so many chances to just be completely liquidated, whether that's literally on exchange, but more importantly, like an emotional liquidation. When you are just beaten, when you've put all your money into something and now you have nothing. I guarantee you and everyone else, if they hear that, thinks, yeah, that's not me. I won't do that. Suckers, blah, blah, blah. No, you will. No one is immune to this shit. Like, it is so powerful because it's not just the number going down. It's the number going down. It's been going down almost predictably, consistently, like all of last year. You then start envisioning it will continue going down forever. That's backed up by cultural cues. People in the space, everyone's bearish. Everyone's saying, bulls are so dumb. You dumbass. Putting money in, you're dumb. Those are enough factors to get people to fold themselves. But then on top of that, you're going to have one more factor that you're probably not considering if you haven't been in crypto long enough. And trust me, you'll know because it'll happen to you. Your family and friends, the people you love and trust, and the people that love and trust you and want the best for you, are going to come to you and say, I'm worried about you, dude. My mother came to me and said, Tom, I'm worried about you. This was like years and years and years ago. And she's like, you're like obsessed with this crypto thing. And it's been going down and you're going to lose all your money. And she didn't do that because she didn't want me to, get rich or something. She did that because she loves me. Her emotions, she was projecting them onto me, her worries and her fears. And this will happen to you with the people that care about you. When you have the combination of all those things, there is such a high % chance that you're just going to fold. Like, it's brutal. It'll be every outlet around you. You will be gaslit. In fact, it is so common that this happens that I've started in our Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, jump in there. In the last few months, I've said things like, I feel so gaslit as a permabull right now with everyone bearish that it's making me more bullish. Like, it is so consistent. As soon as it's the majority thought, all of a sudden, you're going to start questioning your bags and you're going to fold. So the takeaway of that is diversify. Diversify. Don't be all in on one thing. And in fact, I would argue a very smart play is to just have half Bitcoin or more, right? Diversify with dollars or stable coins. You can have them in limit buy orders very low if you want, but it really just as part of your portfolio. Cash does appreciate and depreciate like an asset, much slower, but it will help you keep your portfolio stable through the down draw or for the drawdown. And that's way more important than you think. Your emotional state is, I think, the largest deciding factor of if you do well or not. And then you can allow yourself to have the little coins you can't live without. Oh my God, this is going to go to infinity. Yeah, sure. Well, if it's a really small market cap, say it's 50 million or 100 million, if you have $100 in it and it goes to infinity like you're thinking, or let's say it even goes to like the market cap of Bitcoin right now in a bear market, you've made, like, I don't know, maybe upwards of $1 million, right? Or like 100,000, maybe even like more than that off of $100. You've only risked 100. You've had the buffer of Bitcoin and dollars in your portfolio, keeping you level-headed. These are the steps to success that literally, like, I've been preaching for years. And unfortunately, less and less people take it into consideration. When I started streaming 4 years ago, there were, I would say the investor profile was very different. Very different. And lots of people kind of caught on to what I was saying. I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I've noticed over time that happening less and less as people pursue getting rich quick more and more. That's always been here. You can still get rich, but no one gets rich quick. You get rich one day at a time. It's not get rich quick, it's get rich quicker than any other option, and that's what this space offers. The only thing you have to not do is get liquidated. Literally on exchange, or that real life liquidation I was talking about just a little bit ago. So there's my rant. We'll get back into the charts and reading the chat. But today's just a kind of day to go over that stuff. 54% bullish, 46% bearish. I like those numbers. We're not overwhelmingly bullish. If we were like 60, 70% bullish, I'd be a little worried. I like that at least 40% of us in this bullish space are still looking, are still hesitant. It's good. Get rich or die trying? Absolutely. What's up, Tony Rosas? Danny Khan. What do I think about Shiba Inu? Shiba Inu is a TRC20 token. It is not decentralized. Does that mean it's bad? No. What it does mean, though, is that someone has a disproportionate, unfair advantage to dumping it. And when they dump it, people buying it and holding it, that's their liquidity. But Shiba Inu is just one of how many? 10,000 tokens, right? Like most of the space is that. Most of the space is that. What's Shiba Inu's strength? What does it offer to the space that is not unique, but not necessarily common? I bet we'll get a bunch of funky answers. The real answer is it has a community. That's it. That's what it offers. Community is very much value. If you think about it, community is adoption, right? Groups of people growing larger, sharing something in common. Shiba has a community. I don't know what % of it's real, but I've had people come up to me in real life and talk about Shiba. So I don't think I've ever had that with, you know, whatever coin you can name. Zen. That's the tab I have up. That's value. I own some Shiba. I bought it simply because people wouldn't shut up about it. I'm up pretty good, but it depends what you're here for, man. If you're here for that community, then Shiba's for you. I still really don't think it's a good idea to be 100% Shiba. I think that's a terrible idea. The reasoning or like the logic behind people investing over the last few years on course has changed away from what it used to be to more getting rich quick or community. I support the community. I don't really support the getting rich quick thing. What brought me and other OGs to the space is decentralization and an alternative to the global monetary system. Tokens aren't going to offer that. But that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're valueless. It doesn't mean that they're bad or you shouldn't buy them. But you should be aware of what it means when something isn't decentralized. If I create a token and I create 1 billion of them, we'll call them tomcrown nuggets, right? And I don't know, I start selling them. That'd be illegal. But if that's how it went down and it was being traded, I have all 1 billion tokens. The supply available to everyone else is just what I decide to sell them. So I can manipulate that supply to manipulate the price, to drive FOMO, to get buyers, to dump into the liquidity. And because I own 100% of the entire thing, basically, I can control that price almost indefinitely. And that is an issue with centralized crypto. It's not necessarily how it's distributed. Because if I had bought all 1 billion Tom nuggets from someone else, now I own the whole supply. That's actually different because in essence, that's more fair than that person selling them. Doesn't mean it's decentralized, but It sounds weird, but the fairness is very important, and that's why I like, and that's why you hear me talk about Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin. Of course, there's Monero. There's a little handful of other coins that fit that description, but not many. Because of that, there's just an intrinsic tie to the fairness. Does that make sense? When you mine crypto, you're paying for it through doing work, validating, securing a network. You have a cost basis, which means if I mine it at $10 and it goes down, I'm either going to stop mining it. Or how do I frame this? I have a target at which I need price to be to sell to break even. And nobody wants to just break even. But what that does is it basically sets a range of price through which the market moves, maybe. It's maybe a better way to explain it would be airdrops. People love airdrops, right? They're always talking about airdrops. Oh, airdrop this, airdrop that. I've seen many, many airdrops, and I can tell you right now, I can name one that wasn't worth nothing after the airdrop, and I'm exaggerating, not nothing, but pennies on the dollar. And that was Uniswap. I was skeptical of that because when you airdrop them, you're distributing the supply more fairly than simply creating them. But what you're doing is you're creating a whole supply that has a zero cost basis. Meaning people will dump it at any price because they didn't pay for it. When you mine it, you're paying for it. So you have some kind of limitations on your price. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's an important aspect. Litecoin has like no development going on. Gustav, my brother, that's not, straight up, you guys don't have to like Litecoin. You not liking Litecoin ain't gonna faze me. It's not new. Nobody liked Doge either until price went up. Promise you, everybody's tune will change when Litecoin's price goes up. But that's like factually incorrect, man. Appreciate you being here, and shout out to you for being here. I see your name often, but that's just factually incorrect with Litecoin. You can look it up. Litecoin last year had two major developments, not just one, two. MWeb and Mimblewimble. Like, those are major crypto developments. I don't understand why that argument, like, I hear that a lot. It's not just you, bro. Like, it's lots of people, and I don't understand where that comes from. They also say the same about Bitcoin, and that's also not true. Bitcoin's is the most actively developed project there is. Has the best devs in the space. I guess what people say when they think that, they're either misinformed or like they're expecting something like the Ethereum merge. Something like that. 5 minutes look a little weak here. Momentum pinching. VWAP moving up. Not bad. Not bad. 15 minute is... 15 minute gotta pull up here. Okay, good. The candle just opened. Right above that 30 minute support. Ta-da. 30 minute. Come on, baby. Go back to the chat. We're just chilling there. I'm going to set very, very, very tight alerts. Let me get back here. What about Algo? I'll pull up Algo while I rant. Today's a good ranting day. You like Litecoin? Cool. Vincent Sky. What I found is if you like Litecoin, odds are you've been in crypto. Odds are you're a crypto OG. Algo. Marcus Everbeat looks beast on the day. I don't love this series of higher highs. Series of higher highs with RSI highs coming down. That's some pretty gnarly bearish divergence. And of course that bearish divergence is like right at resistance, 30 cents. But I kind of see for Algo, it didn't quite test 30, but it might be close enough. But what I see is we saw a break of structure. It's close to a break of structure. I'll still say it's a break of structure here. I could see this moving to fully test that 30, but when hitting it, RSI hitting a lower high, and I could see that retracing back down. I might look at like 20 cents, 23.8, something like that. But the day's still looking good. Daily on Algo still looking good. If it can break 30, you're going to look to retrace, what, the November high just below macro resistance and a psychological number 50 cents. That'd be my next target. I'm going to change this to 50. I've just noticed whenever something's like 49 and change, 50 is always like hindsight really where it's going. Bitcoin chilling. I'm liking this, guys. If you're just tuning in, we've been here live kind of diagnosing this 200 Bitcoin weekly test. And my thoughts right now, we're not seeing a ton of strength or something, but what we're not seeing that's important is we're not seeing a clear, harsh rejection. It is possible that it still happens, but with each candle, essentially each candle that's painted after this big red one that doesn't drop into the abyss, we're getting more and more confident that we're not getting that rejection. So things are looking good while it just trades sideways like it is right now. No real clear trend line on the 5. Usually there is. We'll paint it like this for now. What about Doge, man? Doge is in that basket. Doge is the same proof of work. Decentralized origin, fair origin. Nothing wrong with Doge. Doge did have maybe the biggest explosion in 21. And so if we see the markets rally, if Doge doesn't quite keep up, that wouldn't surprise me. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have big upside gain potential as well. I think that it's likely, though, it is likely that it won't experience that same explosion again. I mean, it can still go up hundreds of percents, thousands, but like that was abnormally large. Abnormally. Pressure cooker, man. It's just a pressure cooker. The more people hate... So Doge, people used to hate me for owning it for some reason, but people hated it. They hated me. They hated it. I don't know. It was very odd. They'd like be mad at me. I don't understand. But the more people hate things, the more like capitulated they get. Nobody invested in Doge before the end of 2020. Like so few. A lot of people traded it. I held some of it. But then once Doge broke its highs, there were then no sellers to pull price back down. Because really there were no buyers before that. Now that it's moved up, there's been a lot of buyers. So there's going to be a lot of selling pressure on the way back up to the all-time high. Doesn't mean you can't break it. But we did see a lot of 2017 coins not break their all-time highs in this cycle. And that's likely because there's lots of selling pressure, lots of trapped orders. So Doge into whenever the next bull market is, whether it's now, which I kind of believe, the starting of it, it will have to battle with resistance it didn't have previously. Doesn't mean it can't do well, but it's kind of approaching the bull market from a different direction or the opposite direction versus last time. Do people start mining as price goes up more? That's an interesting question, Todd McAfee. The answer overall would be yes. The answer, though, is in general, more mining has really been just related to more time. Just as time goes on, almost regardless of price, more mining has happened. But there's explanations of that every year or so. We have new ASICs, more powerful, more efficient ASICs, which contribute more hash rate. So that increases the total mining done, even if no new people are mining. What's more important to mining than the price is the profitability. How much does it cost them versus how much can they sell it for? In general, when price goes up, profitability goes up. There are times, though, when that isn't exactly spot on, and that's kind of when maybe a disproportionately large amount of people start at the same time. When difficulty gets cranked up. I'm not sure if that's ever really happened, but that's theoretical. Definitely could happen. Love from Antarctica. Shout out to all of our Antarctic fans. It's probably just you, Bean Juice. Shout out. Socks looks ready for a breakout. Right now, you likely could look at any altcoin and it's going to look like it's ready for a breakout. Ooh, Doge hit 9 cents. We'll look at Doge. I meant to pull it up. No breakout. It is below its BTC pair support. No breakout yet, but Doge is still looking great. Like, I wasn't being negative on Doge. Just being realistic. The bear's favorite things to say. I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic. They're realistic until the bottom's in and they're wrecked again. I like this pattern all in a day. I'm going to feel much better above this high, obviously, duh. But the reason being not simply because higher high is good, but because we do have a very big pattern going on potentially. We gotta hold this low at 7.8 cents. Holding that low paints a nice little inverse head and shoulders, or whatever you want to call it, reversal pattern with a measured move target of 12.6. And that looks pretty interesting. Oh, absolutely. Doge is either going to like explode. Ooh, I like that. We'll do 11.75. It's right at the weekly. Doge is either going to explode, meaning breaking 11.7, move like very, very quickly up to, there's still some resistance, but I'll say not so much, up to 20 cents. Or this is a bear flag and it's just going to poop the bed, which honestly wouldn't be that crazy. I don't think this is going to happen. But it wouldn't be that crazy simply because you have a big gap. You have a big gap below you. BNB is a coin that comes to mind that has an even bigger gap below it. But from just under a penny up to 4 cents, you have some of the least efficient price action I've ever seen. It literally was straight up. So I don't think this is a bear flag, but if it is, man, you'd look probably for like 4 cents, and then maybe you get, like I said earlier in the stream, bear markets are like time machines. You get prices from years ago that you never would have gotten otherwise. But yeah, I don't think that necessarily is a bear flag. Money flow is looking more bullish on the weekly than bearish. Money flow on the days, or not money flow, market cipher B on the days looking more bullish. I don't think that's the plan. But just keep in mind, if it does fall, if it does break its low, the first sign will be at 7.8 cents to start paying attention. You do have a huge potential downside. Not fudding it, just being untransparent with the chart. Binance has a worse setup. Checking back in on BNB, not Binance, BNB coin. We did have a little short ski from 336. It's still playing, looking good. But I was talking about that inefficiency. Look at this. From the previous all-time high of $38, boom, right up to 700, 20x, virtually straight up. It hit a swing low at 183. If it loses 183, it is absolutely possible it trades back to that $32. That's a minus 80% from there. Not 80% from here, 80% from there. Inefficiencies in price action are not guarantees, but they're definitely things you want to be aware of as a trader. When something moves just up or just down, it makes it easier when it makes it easier when it reverses to come back or retrace that. Like if you look at March's swing low to that high, you're 618 sitting around $32. If you use the bear market low in 28, that 618 is like right there at $32. Cool. Cool. Just the crypto tax people getting back to me. All right, Bitcoin, coming back to your descending high trend. Let's go. I want to see this day close above the 200 week. I want to see it close above. Oh, I see why. 24.9, which it currently, this is odd to me. So I'm not sure which one here to trust. TradingView is giving us the price on the right for the moving average for the 200 weekly. And it's saying 24.9, but then it's displaying on the chart this little nub here, which you can barely see, but that is supposed to be it, at 25K. I'm not really sure which one is right. Let's do a stress test. Let's do a stress test. We'll just put it a clean moving average, not on the week, saying 25. So I guess 25 is it? It's kind of odd. You guys see that? Like when we're on the week, it says 25, and then we go to the 5 minutes, it says 24.9. That's weird. That's very weird. What is this? 200 moving average on the 5 minute actually looks really clean. That's a nice test of it. So far, we're following the doodle. We're following the pattern. This is very hypothetical. So far, so good. If we continue to follow this pattern, it looks like this would take a while to resolve, but it would see a march back up this trend line, a break of our local resistance here, backtesting, before falling. That looks like probably right at the 0.5 resistance, boom, and up. What do you guys think? You think it'll happen or no? I will say I've never really had one of these play out for a long time period. I've had them be very close to price. I've had them be very good for certain amounts of time, but usually it doesn't look exactly like this. It's just a general idea, and this is really just like a hypothetical study. Identifying a pattern that might be similar and seeing if it's playing out again. Damn, the 5 minute didn't break its high there. We have a lower high, a lower low. Momentum is moving up still, but ugh. Blue. Following the gut, Jacob. Get your crystal balls out. CryptoX Gamer, think will happen. I think we close above the 200 today. I'm not seeing a rejection yet. I think we would have seen a rejection already, to be honest. Matic is breaking out. Let's go, Matic. Holy. I remember when I placed this trade, I said I don't like it because it's a breakout trade. That's not my jam. But like, wow. Wow. Looks like it was good. $1.79 is the target for our trade. It's our 1618 extension from the break of our high last year. Ooh, that's good. I already have an arrow. I don't need another one. If this rally does get sold off, Matic is likely to now have painted a new support. It was resistance, $1.27.5. I'm going to tweet this. I don't think I even tweeted about this live. We just went live. Matic to $1.79. I'll just put an emoji. Fire. Let's go. Please look at LRC. We already did. Pull it back up. Lido. Literally, Dean Putin. I can see your chat. I just don't read the chat all the time. Literally, though, guys, I know you're all excited about your individual coins you're watching. I watch like all of the coins, and I'm telling you right now, there's probably not going to be like a single one that doesn't kind of look like this, like moving up to resistance. Like they're all moving up. LRC, 50 cents, man. Boom. 50 cents. Psychological. Also a literal resistance. Looking left. We've nailed it. We nailed this chart, man. Money flow is maybe the most beast mode of any of them I've seen. LRC looks really good. Strong AF. Lido. I'll just pull it up. Oh, wow, it's 12:40. Shit. It's 12:45. I got the text guy coming on at 1:30. It's not, we can't do one long stream. Yeah, Lido finally doing something. Definitely wasn't the pattern we were looking for with this lower low here, but we had the right idea apparently. Looking for that flat top. Lido retesting $3 right now. Lido does get interesting though. Like it does get interesting. It traded to like $3.02. Looks like its all-time high was $3.90. I don't really trust that first candle, but you got $3.10 from 2022 in August, and if you break that, you start getting crazy freaking numbers. You start getting crazy moon math numbers, like bonkers. Your 1618's at 678. Your two measure moves at 11. Like your bigger, more macro is at 15. As high as 37. I mean, that's probably hopium there. But break all-time high. Price discovery is hella powerful. I got those alerts. I wonder if you could do this. Something like that. You might be able to re-enter at like 264. Five minutes. Shit. I only have 40 minutes till that guy's here. This is my life. 850 viewing. We hit 960. It's weird. Our streams seem like capped under 1,000. I don't get it. Like I see Jason Casper and Frankie Candles and stuff like they've had like over 1,000 for multiple days in a row. I don't know what's up with ours. We typically have had more viewers than them. I mean, congrats to them. I love both of them. They both make amazing content. You should watch them too. You should subscribe to them too. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. It's good to see we have almost 1,000. We're not even at our normal time. I like it. I like it. Have you subscribed yet? If you're out there, we only need 9 more subscribers to roll over to the next 100. We have 74,791. I have a feeling that we have 9 people who aren't subscribed here. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Smash the like. Help us get to 74.8 and join the Discord for updates. Let's see. So at 1:30, provided I ever get off this stream, we've got a crypto tax professional who I personally met in Vegas. Very good dude, very smart. He actually has really interesting things to say about it. And hope you guys join for that. It's at 1:30, or it's 40 minutes from now. It's on this channel. It's scheduled. Get redirected there. What just happened? I closed that out. Dollar not moving. I have a feeling Bitcoin's waiting for me to end the stream, so check out the links in the video description below. Sign up for Bybit, sign up for MEXC, sign up for BingX. They're great exchanges. They all have different things. Bybit is our sponsor. Use my link. It helps support the channel. Costs you nothing. A little bit of that exchange fee goes to me instead of the big boys, the big whales at the exchange. Tune in 40 minutes. We're going to have that tax guy. Love you, fam.